Every year we see leaders gather at COP. They make declarations, take photos, and yet the planet keeps warming. From where you stand as someone working on real measurable impact, A, what's missing? Now I will break it. I will get less ambitious. What's missing from these global processes at COP?
Well, other than action, you mean? Well, I think first and foremost, I've already touched upon it. We cannot repeat this finding wonder moment again, where the women involved in the process at a leadership level are absent. So that needs to change. And I fundamentally believe that if we fix that, then I think we have a higher chance of success. We also have, whilst the politicians continue to talk, increasingly you see the stresses of climate change, whether it's extreme weather events and typhoons and floods, impacting businesses, villages, people, sometimes 2 or 3 times a year. We see a number of typhoons that the Philippines get battered with on an annual basis now. I think there's a growing volume, particularly from, for example, capital, to take action and put their agenda forward, that we need to be taking action and start to future-proof businesses by taking strong climate action. Otherwise, the long-term impact is going to be considerably worse than unless we make decisions now. And to be frank, we're still subsidizing the fossil fuel industry to the tune of trillions of dollars at the same time as turning up at COP saying we want to change things. So I'd love to see the governments increase their NDC, the nationally determined commitments, in line with what we originally set out to do, which is 1.5 degrees. Now, does that happen or not? I'm a little bit skeptical. So in the absence of that, what do we do? And I think in the absence of that, we, or at least from my point of view, I will still continue to work with entrepreneurs who will operate and build businesses which don't require regulation in their favor, don't require subsidies in their favor, don't require these incentives in their favor, because they're actually building businesses which enable the green transition whilst delivering positive economic impact. Yeah, I think low expectations, I think.
Okay, so that's that's the concrete, because I've had people come on board and they've actually called Copper Jamboree. I've had a very senior person come here say it's not about climate. It's just a place where people from different parts of the world who are in those sectors have a chance to get together and carry on their other issues, what they want to do together. So I've had...
Well, probably both of those are true.
So if I've had the presence of a climate activist coming from Brazil who spoke about what is happening behind the scenes, and very passionate voices saying, hey, this is about Mother Earth, and the place where this is being held in Brazil is pretty much, they're talking about climate action, running around the rainforest. They're spending millions in bringing people together, and they're doing exactly what they should not be doing, because it's actually more going pretty much in that direction when everybody runs down the forest and they want to collect in that place, building stuff there. What is that one thing beyond? Because I think over the years, everybody's constantly saying we need accountability. If accountability is not set. So why is everybody dragging their feet? I'm refusing to say who's everybody, by the way. Why is everybody dragging their feet in setting accountability? A. And my question to you, because as I come from the outside, I can happily ask all the questions. When we go beyond accountability, are they really looking at it? I mean, are they able to see what I am seeing and you are seeing? What is wrong? What is wrong with their glasses?
I swing from wild optimism to wild pessimism on a daily basis sometimes, and it's incredibly frustrating to see the lack of action, despite all the evidence that shows that actually we're reaching a point of no return, and it just defies all logic. and understanding why we're not taking more urgent action. If this was any kind of war, what we would be in full-scale nuclear preparation for nuclear attack. It would be all hands on deck. It would be people rushing with urgency to really tackle the problem. Now, so why doesn't that happen? I think it happens because there are, I think, one, in many cases, we operate in a very short-term democratic environment in many of these countries, and they are beholden to a very short window, which is a 2 or 3 election cycle, and ability to deliver things that are happy and make the consumers happy, the voters happy quickly, which normally means more money in people's pockets, is one reason. And I think the other reason is, which is kind of how we think about climate change on the ground in emerging markets, which is around incentives and motivation. And so what I mean by that is, why does a rice farmer adopt a new way of doing things? Because they're going to end up being better off. Why does a country not implement things? Well, there's some very large vested interests, I think, in the economy and very strong, powerful bodies in the oil and gas industry who do have no investment or motivation or incentive to change, because it basically means the start of the end. And so there is incredible incentive and motivation to deflect, deny, delay as long as possible, as much as possible, the agenda. So that voice is very, very loud. And you see, I think, behind the scenes, a lot of what comes out of the US at the moment is on that back, to a certain extent, some other countries like Russia also. So yeah, incredibly frustrating. And all a consumer can do is to stand up and speak up if you feel strongly about it, change your own behavior, and also vote in the right way if you feel strongly about it.
So essentially, you're not very hopeful, A, and B, from a practical point of view, being in the climate sector, you look beyond COP. COP is not your focus.
It's not something which I think too much about, to be honest. We went along as an organization 2 years ago and said, there's no point us going again, because actually it's a big talking shop and it's a big jamboree, and it's like there's tens of thousands of people here. Yes, we ended up meeting whole people from Southeast Asia we could meet in Southeast Asia. And did it shift the needle on anything? Did it have any impact on anything? No. And so from an ROI and investment point of view, it makes sense us going. So from our point of view, as an impact investor and building businesses in this space, it doesn't have any material consequence, because we will still continue to invest and build businesses which are tackling climate change and delivering value for the customers. And so if miraculously one of those governments in the countries we operate decides to put carbon pricing in place or put incentives in place to adopt cleaner and greener, that will accelerate what we do, but we're not relying on it. And so the absence of this pressure and changes and governments stepping up, we'll continue to focus on the sort of a just green transition, which delivers a green discount, and do that as quickly and as fast as possible.
There speaks a true entrepreneur, the practical one. No, I totally agree with you, actually. Objective is to find the spot where one can do something and just do it and find a way to do it.